This is Global Digest think tank, and we are broadcasting our discussion as you are one of international NGO officer, and we are going to talk about gender issue. And firstly, let us know about what you are doing and what is Plan International.
Okay, I'm Ayuk Clovis, let's say for Clovis Ayuk, and residing in Cameroon. And of course, I'm a gender expert with over 7 years of experience in the field of gender equality and inclusion, fighting against gender-based violence. I'm a holder of double degree in women and gender studies with journalism and mass communication from the University of Buea, and also a master's student awaiting defense from the University of Buea, that's Masters in Conflict, Peace, and Security in the University of Buea. So per career, I've worked with different organizations, that's local and international organizations, and right now, gender officer with Plan International. And that's just Clovis. Clovis like networking. Clovis like working with people. Clovis like fighting for the rights of people, trying to fight for the rights of women, children, and of course, elevating poverty in the world at large. Like I said, I'm gender officer with Plan International. So I'm work at the level of the country level. I'm working in Cameroon, but of course, when it arises, we move to international sphere where we discuss matters that concerns children and young girls.
So how you work with the children and the related to children is directly related to gender or
yes
project?
Yeah. Well, I cut across many different projects. That is projects that relate to child protection, even with food distribution, projects that are just there to fight against gender-based violence or IPV, that's intimate partner violence. I've worked with a couple of projects that's more women in politics. Yes, and that is it. That is just what I do. That is what who I am, and of course, I've been working with youth directly. Like in Cameroon, I've been working with youth directly, trying to cause youth to be able to fight against negative masculinities in the society. That is, fight against gender-based violence and all other social harmful norms that are preventing youth from integrating themselves into the economy, integrating themselves into the society, and causing development to that particular society in which they find themselves.
So what is the main problem in Cameroon related to gender issue? What do the people are facing about gender issue in Cameroon?
Okay, with regards to gender issues, I would say Cameroon is almost gender balanced. Yes, that is to say they give opportunities to both men and women at different levels. As of now, politically, women are occupying about 33 or 35, 33 and above percent when it comes in politics, and at all sectors, women are equally. Per the pay range, salary increase and position at different private and public sphere is the same. And now what we are like trying to work into is to challenge gender norms in the society. Like society that are yet to come to that reality of equality, of gender equality or gender transformation. So we are trying to work as an organization to see into it that all societies experience gender transformation. That is, like, there are some societies that said only a boy child should go to school, and a girl child is supposed to get married. And those are some of the harmful norms, harmful practices that we are trying to challenge, we are trying to change, and we are trying to strive that it gets eradicated from the community. And of course, when it gets eradicated, every child, every girl child, boy alike, free to go to school, free to go to
Right.
attend every level of education.
So Cameroon is majority Christian or they are Muslim?
Now, for with regards to that, Cameroon is of majority. We have the northern part, the northern region, that is made of Garoua, Marua. That's we usually say far north region or north, and it's majority of them are usually the Muslims. And when you start coming south, south of Cameroon, south, southwest, northwest, center, and littoral region, majority are Christians. So I can say in Cameroon, majority of the population is Christian.
I see.
Yeah.
So both Christian and Muslim community are biggest community, two biggest community in Cameroon. Even Christian
Yeah,
more
but
than
in
Muslim. But Muslim are also not
yeah,
that
we
small.
have yeah, Muslim community is not that small. Muslim community is not that small. Yeah. And with regards to the community, there's always Muslim communities where Christians themselves live in, and of course, Christian communities where Muslim are inhabitants. So in Cameroon, there's always that melange, or can I say, the Muslim, the Christian, they work together.
I see. It's good. I mean, uh, you have a good percentage of women participation in the politics, about 35% are not that bad. By the way, it is by quota or just by popularly elected, the 30 or 35% women in the politics.
Okay, the political at the level of the politics, we usually go by in Cameroon. It's usually by elections. That is from parliamentary level to senatorial to presidential. All of it is by election. That is, the president is being elected by the population, and it's a democracy. It's a democratic government whereby the president is being elected, as well as the
Right.
senators, the parliamentarians, and of course, even at the level of the society, the mayors too are the ones that they are being elected.
Right. I mean,
So
the women population in politics, 30, 35 are directly elected by the people, right?
yes,
So it's not by quota. Quota means the regulation. They must reserve 30%, 35% for women's seat. It's not the case, right? The people elected about 30 or
yeah,
35% directly. So I mean, the people are doing good uh, proportionally selection for the women in the politics. So it's not that bad. So, and the other issue is you are saying about the children, especially girls should be the right to go to school. I heard usually in the many Muslim country, they prohibited women to go to school, and they are not allowed to wear, you know, open face or, you know, short shirt or pants, something like that. So I'm not sure in Cameroon, this kind of restriction in Cameroon, and maybe the Muslim community in northern part of Cameroon may be more restricted for the girls compared to the Christian population in the south. How it is? Can you explain more?
Okay, when we get to the educational sector with Cameroon, it's true we have our uniforms, it's true we have a mode of dressing, but there are exceptional cases, especially with the northern region, because after everything, there is a culture, there's a way the Muslim would like to dress that is covering their face, covering their face, and that is allowed in the schools, especially with the government schools and the Muslim religious schools in which they do attend. And of course, they go a long way to learn. There's no restriction with regards to dressing, as well as there's no restriction. I think recently the minister of secondary education, Madame Nalova Lyonga, or Professor Nalova Lyonga, gave a decree whereby she, in that decree, stated that girls who are even pregnant, that means if you get pregnant in school, you should be allowed to continue your schooling. Why did she come in with this decree? That it was at first when children get pregnant, girls get pregnant, principals or school administrators think that that's the end of them, and of course they are being dismissed from school. And she had to intervene with this decree, giving the right for a girl child to be able to continue to school. Pregnancy should not be a limitation for a girl child not to go to school or whatsoever thing. Her body is her own right, and she needs to strive in the future, because you dismissing a child from school is already a form of frustration. And of course, to a longer extent, it leads to what we call domestic violence and other forms of gender-based violence. So
Right.
there's no restriction when it comes between a girl child going to school, be it in the northern region or in the southern region. Some of those cultures were there at first, but for sure, due to different organizations that have been on ground and fighting for the cause of women and gender equality, especially in educational sector, that all has been scraped off.
Right. So it means you are saying the girls can go to school. That is their own choice to cover their face or without covering their face. That is up to the children. It's not imposed restriction from Islam religion, right? Their own choice, right?
Yeah, if I say their own choice, like at the level of the Islam region, it states that they should cover their face. So we leave them, we might sensitize, talk to them on the importance of maybe wearing or not wearing, and it will leave them to their own choice. If they are choosing to follow the culture, the Islamic culture, then it's good for them. They can move ahead. The thing is, the school does not limit them that insofar you are in school, you should cover your face or you should dress normally or whatsoever. There's no limitations in the school sphere with regards to that.
I see. It means the girls can choose their own preference about religion, right? And if any,
Yeah.
do you find any violation of gender-based human right violation, especially to the women and anything in Cameroon?
Yeah, with regards to gender-based violence, we should talk about any harmful act that has been perpetrated to a woman without her consent. In Cameroon, per se, there are always violence. We have um, various harmful traditional practices that still go on in Cameroon, and we are hoping that
What is the
by
age
2030,
limitation in Cameroon? What is the adult age? 18, 19?
yeah, above 18, she can decide on her own.
I see.
Like, for example, yeah, by above 18, she can decide on her own. And by 18, we define children as children below. Children is any child, a child is any person below 18 years. So above 18 years is already an adult and can decide, can take informed decisions about herself.
I see. So, gender-based violation, it can be domestic violence within the family by their parents beating their children, their daughter, and the husband beating wife, and undermining, look down, or many kind of discrimination and violence. And that kind of, even in Asia, usually traditional Asian culture, they put women a little bit down compared to men in any status. So that it's happened around the world, I guess. So, but it's keep changing nowadays, and even salary, women pay lower than men, even they work the same kind of job. So this kind of gender-based discrimination, and that's practiced in many places. So, but it's improving more and more. So many women become equally as men in many issues. So I'm not sure in Africa how the women's status improving better, and is there any domestic human right law or domestic law that can prevent the gender-based violation? Do you have enough legal system or any advocate in Cameroon if any violation happen upon gender-based violation in Cameroon?
Yeah, in Cameroon, Cameroon is first of all a signatory to all the international laws as fighting against gender-based violence, and also a signatory fighting for child rights. And we in Cameroon we have
CEDAW,
the
CRC, all these international human rights convention. Cameroon is a signature party, right?
Yes, Cameroon is a signatory child on nearly all the conventions of the right of a child, of women, and of course.
It's fine. So you are talking about Cameroon is a signature party of many human rights convention, right? So it's very good information Cameroon is doing, but I'm not sure the implementation, how Cameroon government is implemented and how the society implemented the Human Rights Convention. So can you tell more about your implementation of human rights in Cameroon?
Okay, with regards to human rights, I will say the government of Cameroon is trying. It's trying her best with the implementation of human rights, though a lot needs to be done with regards to human rights in Cameroon. Like, for example, presently in Cameroon, we're having two crises currently ongoing in Cameroon. We have the Boko Haram insurgency in northern region, that's in the north part of the country, and in the north and southwest region, that's Anglophone area of the country. There's the Anglophone crisis that has been there since 2017, 2016 up to now. We have been in a crisis zone, and the conflict is actually boiling, and a lot of human rights violations ongoing at the level of the non-state armed groups as well as from the government or the military, as well from the states. Yeah.
So probably the conflict area, probably conflict area between the Cameroon government and Boko Haram. That area may be a lot of human rights violation, right?
Yeah, the conflict between the Cameroon government and Boko Haram, there has been a lot of human rights violation at the end of the Boko Haram site, whereby there have been indiscriminately bombings, killing, rapes, and all the like, as well as from the government side, torture of captured criminals indiscriminately, and of course, for some that have been murdered, unconfirmed reports on that, and those are some of the human rights violations at the site of the Anglophone crisis that's in the northwest and southwest side. There have been human rights violations at both ends in the areas of the non-state armed groups who are vying for a separated nation. There have been also a human rights violation at their end, as well as from the government, whereby houses have been burned down, people have been killed, women have been raped, children have been rendered homeless. A lot of refugees there in IDPs, internally displaced persons, all over the country. I mean, the situation is, especially in Northwest Southwest, is a matter that is so sad, and it's urgent intervention from different international and national bodies. As of now, a lot has been done with regards to that, but there's still a lot that needs to be done. If we have to cope and stop the human rights violations that are ongoing in Cameroon.
So what your Plan International are doing? They are doing any support to the victim of human rights violation, or you have any project at the moment? What Plan International are doing in Cameroon?
Okay. With regard to Plan International, the work of Plan International in Cameroon, Plan International have been in Cameroon for over 25 years. I've been working in Cameroon at the development phase, and even right now the emergency phase. Plan International has been in Cameroon since 1996 to now. That's over or close to 25 years. We'll be celebrating 25th anniversary in Cameroon come November. Now, with regards to the activities of Cameroon, Plan International is present in 8 regions or 8 states. You guys have the states that way. It's present in 8 regions in Cameroon, even at the level of the far north, and most of her activity goes to do with empowering, striving, and of course getting equality for girls. Like I work in different projects in Cameroon, yeah, under Plan International, like the emergency response ongoing in Northwest, Southwest regions. What is Plan International doing? Plan International has 2 offices, one in Northwest, one in Southwest region, and a lot of projects that are ongoing. Like for example, there's a project ongoing, the food distribution project, whereby they distribute food to women, men, and children that have and IDPs that have, of course, they have been rendered foodless due to the war or the conflict that is in the region, as well as we carry out psychosocial support to children, IDPs, and host communities in the region. Also, like what concerns me is the area of gender-based violence. We carry out sensitization, awareness raising. A lot of referrals are being done with cases of that have suffered gender-based violence. We carry out qualitative case management processes, especially for rape case, and we know what is needed for the particular case that will come in line with us. But most of our cases that we work with children and try to promote and empower children and youth.
I see. So your Plan International headquarters in which country?
So Plan International has, like I told you, is in different countries, over 90 countries. And the headquarters, we call it, is in UK. It's in UK. And in Cameroon, like I told you, Plan International is present in over 8 regions, which is headquarters in Yaoundé, that's the capital of Cameroon. So the headquarters is found in Yaoundé, and that's where we call it country office. It's in Yaoundé, and other implementation offices in the sub-regions and regions in different areas. Like in Bamenda, we have the Bamenda PR office, which controls Northwest, Southwest, and Southwest. There's in Buea, the top office. In Kumba, there's also an office. So that is how Plan International functions. It has been striving for the equality of girls, girls getting equal at all stages, be it at educational level, ICT, promoting girls in STEM education, and seeing that girls are not limited because of their gender.
I see. So I don't know, Plan International has a kind of gender development index around the world, or different country level of gender development. Do you have index, or you don't have?
International, we have a gender global strategy, which all over the world is being respected. That is the gender transformative marker, age marker everywhere. That is what they implement at the level of at the level of global hub, at the level of UK to country offices. Everybody is equal. We follow the same gender mainstreaming, gender strategy in all, gender transformative strategy in all offices, in all Plan International offices all over the world.
So particularly in Africa and Cameroon, what is the most, there is a positive and negative point compared to global gender issue in Cameroon, particularly, and around Africa? Maybe there are different culture, and there are different practices, so you may find something.
There are different violences. Physical violence, I can say, is the one which is alarming in Cameroon.
I see. So they are still practicing physical violence against a different gender, especially against in
Especially
Cameroon.
women.
Or do you still use corporal punishment in the school, the beating the kids? Or
As of now, corporal punishment has been abolished in schools, and so kids are no longer beaten. Like, what in my days, we were really trash. Oh my God, we're trash. Yeah, but now the Cameroon today, kids are not beaten in school any longer. Corporal punishment is not encouraged in schools, and when we talk about physical violence, we talk about other forms of violence, physical, intimate partner violence, especially physical, is that which is common. Men beating their women, and of course, some women also beating their men. I should not talk only about men beating women, whereas there's some.
I see. That's right. That's right. Sometimes we are talking for women victim only. Sometimes we forget to talk about men victims. So as you said, there are also a number of men victim from the woman violence against men. So it can happen. So we have to equally consider all these victims, either women or men, So we have to concentrate. Sometimes, I mean, not every woman, some women, they can misrepresent thing and exaggerating against men. So it can also happen. So we have to, carefully consider all the cases, although generally a man violence against women, but there can be a case
Yeah.
women violence men too. So it is I heard from your Cameroon case, right?
Yeah, and that is why we're encouraging women when violated, especially physically, or what any form of gender-based violence. When we're talking about gender-based violence, we are talking about 6 different forms of gender-based violence. Gender-based violence is actually hitting hard upon many of our friends, of our colleagues, and of course, in the community, it becomes so rampant. And one of the things we should always tell people around is that speak out. When
Right.
it happens, speak out.
Right.
Now, most at times, men don't speak out. In fact, 98 or even not 99%, men are always silent about issues, silent about gender-based violence. In the communities we're talking about gender-based violence, I remember I said there are 6 forms of gender-based violence. Okay. We talk about number 1, which occurs in every community, every city, every country, that is rape. It's very rampant in many countries. Has to do with physical penetration, with
Right.
penetration, forceful penetration, either to a man or to a woman. And it has a lot of consequences. We talk about sexual abuse, which has to do with sexual harassment and all the like. Bosses harassing their staff, their colleagues in the office, as well as at the home sphere, or whatever area they find themselves. We talk about physical violence, which has to do with hitting, beating of a man or a woman because of his or her gender, and this alone constitutes a lot. Now, there is also what we call after the physical violence, we'll have economic violence, which has to do with denial of resources and opportunities. Now, in this form of violence, it's still being practiced, whereby, remember earlier I was talking about some girls, children being specified. You see, they'll prefer a boy child to go to school and the girl child to stay at home, reach a particular age and they send her to marriage. That is denial of an opportunity to go to school, to learn and become responsible
Right.
and get integrated into the society. As well, we talk about the harmful traditional practices. These are traditional practices that don't have any effect, don't have any advantage to either a boy or a girl. And these practices are being carried out. Last week, I was in a community in Cameroon and was hampering on harmful traditional practice. And a Muslim was like telling me that when a child sees her first menstrual flow, and the second menstrual flow, the struggle that she sees it in her husband's house. Just imagine a child of 10 years seeing a menstrual flow. That means automatically by the time she's seen a menstrual flow in the next month, she's going to her husband's house. Is that not child violation? That's a right violation, and it's a harmful traditional practice. They consider that she has to be in her husband's house. We talk about female genital mutilation, where some communities still practice it till today, that the cutting of the clitoris of a woman to prevent her, for her to, according to them, they consider when that has been done, that traditional practice has been done, the girl child is now a woman and can join different cultural groups, or of course reintegrate herself to the society and be able to get married and live with the people naturally. Whereas that's a harmful traditional practice that has no medical value, no medical importance to a girl child. Instead, many children die. Many
Right.
children suffer from fistulas.
So by
And
the
some,
way, yeah. By the way, how is the traditional practice and local culture is above the law or the state regulation, or it is which is superior, traditional culture or state regulation and legal system is superior?
Normally, the laws are superior to traditional cultures. But you understand with me that in most hinterlands, the state cannot access those hinterlands, those villages that still practices things, these harmful cultural norms. So it's for the state now to be able to create an access, create a way whereby local organizations or international organizations, why not the government agencies, get into these villages, get into these societies, sensitize the women, the girls, and of course the men who are the lawmakers in their societies. So it will solve a lot of problem for women in that society if the state has to stand upon herself, take responsibility, and of course be able to march on toes just to save mankind and for the good of all its citizens.
Right. So the villages are in Muslim community.
Now, talking about harmful traditional practices, not just the Muslim communities that have been practicing that, other communities of in the country also have their own traditional practices. Excuse me. But now the Muslim community might be somewhere that is alarming. But right now, thanks to organizations that have been carrying out sensitization, awareness raising, and all sort of focus group discussions, that is gradually taking its place. So I believe that in years, everything will be okay.
So in case of, the parents, they are supposed to be guardians of their children, underage kids. And instead of their prejudice, physically violence and sexual violence. So such kind common in Cameroon, or how the legal system and how the local culture system, how the kids, the girl has the right to prevent any violence by the parents, because legally the parents is guardian, so the parent can kind of, indirectly, they are using their power to abuse their own kids. Is there any case in Cameroon?
Yes, I think we have had some such cases whereby parents have abused their daughters, as well as even religious leaders have abused their Christians. The law stands fight against that, and of course, even tradition fights against that. So it's something which is worth fightable. And we have been fighting at our own end to bring justice to every child that has been abused by anyone, that is anyone, including parents, guardians, brothers, sisters. I mean, that is it. I remember my first case in which when I just got to my organization and I was just driving with a car and a guy just came by me and was trying to talk to me that, Chloe, sir, please can I speak to you? And I said, yes. And was recounting to me the rate at which he has been experiencing violence in his house, in his father's house. And I was like, wow. I had to just encourage him, carry out psychosocial support and, of course, psychosocial first aid, talk with him, counsel him, and that he's a good man now today and he's fighting for the cause. Such things are still around and it's happening, John.
Such kind of parents abuse their daughter. Is there any court cases? Is there common in Cameroon, or there are almost no court cases?
Okay, for court cases, I haven't had any, but I've heard of it. So it's a matter of trying to look for the court cases, if trying to find out if there have been such cases that have been taken to court at the customary level, at the judicial or Supreme Court, whatsoever. So it's just for me to do more investigations on that and be certain
Right.
on that.
Right. So it's Cameroon is a democracy country, right? Is there more? Is Cameroon is a liberal democracy, or they are far away from liberal democracy? How gender equality, gender right can contribute to liberal democracy? Is your Cameroon is a liberal democracy, or how is your democracy status?
Okay, with Cameroon, I think I don't know how I can really describe the democracy in Cameroon because we have really had problems when it comes to democracy. You see the conflict happening in, if you ask me, I'll say the conflict happening in Cameroon might be because of democratic issue or probably power imbalance. And of course, that is something we should are praying to for change of hand because we for over close to over 35 years we have had just a president that has been on chair and he's still there. He has been voted in and out, voted from 1982 and up to now. He's still there as a president. So I don't know how we could define that form of democracy, but believe me, apart from the presidency, other he's the one that appoints his ministers and all the like, and obviously they are very open.
If democracy is, elected one person for a long time, continuously, unlimitedly, it can be a kind of a democracy dictatorship, You need more check and balance, There should be a kind of, leverage because probably he did not allow opposition party or he prevented any check and balance that will be keep going to be president, something like that. It can happen. So I mean, there are once a while in the world one man show can be happen, but we democracy believe always balancing different people participation in democracy and leadership in democracy is a much better according to democracy system,
Yeah.
So I hope your Cameroon could be do better democracy in the future. I'm sure Cameroonians know any leftist ideology. I mean, communism or socialism, something like that. In Africa, usually there is no left wing communist or something like that. You don't have, right?
We don't have.
And that Muslim Boko Haram group are also, they are not about ideology. They are more about fundamentalism, religious fundamentalism, and more about terrorists or gang or something like that. So they are not ideology at all, I guess. So you in not like in Asia, as we have a big ideology different, right wing liberal democracy and left communist socialism, something like that. So in Africa, it's not that, no left wing communist or something like that. You don't have. So it's good for you, but you have a lot of things to upgrade democracy. You still have a lot of dictatorship or corruption case and something like that in Cameroon. So we hope in Cameroon it will be improved and your plan internationally and many NGO can work for gender equality and improve human rights in the country. And I hope the future of Cameroon can be better life.
Yeah, like we always say, we strive for a lasting impact uh, at the level of the community. So what we want to see is girls getting equal community where everybody is able to live freely with no stereotypes and no gender barriers preventing them from accessing what they want to access in life.
So thank you very much, you Clovis, and to develop better human rights and democracy around the world.
And thank you, John. And I believe that to talk about maybe another time we'll discuss on issues pertaining to gender and how we could transform our societies and make a society better place for both men and women.